So, okay, guys, hello and welcome to another edition of Pay It Forward. My name is Ben Rookwood and I am one of the coaches at Cortex Training Center. Okay, so as a CrossFit coach, it is important that we connect with the diverse athletes that we have coming into our box. For us to have the best chance of creating that relationship, we need to have the understanding and consideration of others and their journey. Pay It Forward is a platform to raise awareness, create a better understanding, engage with people who feel isolated, and challenge current stereotypes. Today, our guest is Nige Barber, and today we're going to talk about inclusion for disabled athletes. Nige, how are we doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good to hear, good to hear. Now, firstly, I'd just like to say thank you. This is the first time myself and Nige have actually met in, I'd say, semi-person, because we're still obviously on Zoom. But Nige, I've been following you on social media. Got introduced to you by Nige Lashbrook. Big shout out to Nige. We miss you loads. But yes, I've been following your story. Love seeing your progress. Especially saw recently, obviously hitting a snatch, which was a PB, which was great to see, transitioning from the PVC pipe now to getting 17 kilos above your head. Now, you've been on an incredible journey over the last 22 years from when you had your accident that left you in a wheelchair. So what we want to talk about today is how it is for someone that is a disabled athlete, the barriers and obstacles that you've had to face to get to where you are on your journey today.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, started my CrossFit journey. I've been training for probably just shy of 20 years now in gyms and stuff, but wanted something to push myself a bit more. And CrossFit was the option from my current PT. I went to my local box where I was met with one of the coaches there who pretty much turned around and told me, yeah, it's not something I can do, which hit me a little bit. I was like, okay, I don't see why not, but is it because you can see my disability and I'm a bit more of an issue to try and teach than someone who's not disabled. I had the joys of meeting Martin and the coaches at CrossFit Pi, and Martin's first response was, why not? It's adaptable. Every movement is adaptable in some way. And luckily with him and 3 years of being with him, he's pushed me to be better than what I was before. It's the fact that him as a coach and Pi as a place, they've taken it on board that everybody can do it. You just need to spend the time with a person to understand the limitations the same as anybody else. Just because I'm disabled doesn't mean that I can't do it. There's ways and means of doing anything.
100%. Yeah. So there's been a lot of talk about obviously inclusion, more directed towards race and gender. But in terms of disability, do you think that people definitely see the disability before they see the actual person, and they actually probably don't see you as a person? They just see you as your disability, as your restrictions?
To begin with, yes, because my disability is quite prominent. I'm in a wheelchair. You can see it. Disabilities aren't. And it always will. But it's also, it just depends on what the person can and can't do.
Yeah.
But it's having somebody that will listen to what you can and can't do and want to take the time and the effort to do that. Then take masses of time to work out what can and can't be done, but you go from that, you can move on there and go from there.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think it's you as a coach, you have to be prepared for everyone that walks through the door. You know, that's the beauty of CrossFit, or should be the beauty of CrossFit, is it's open to everyone. And you know, you're obviously testament to that. A big shout out to CrossFit Pi, and you know, the coaches there, and obviously that are doing it. I should imagine that a lot of people don't do it, because possibly they're scared. But again, if you just see people as people and don't see them as anything else, and connect with them, then there's not going to be an issue.
A lot of coaches might not come across someone with a disability come to their box, but a lot of that is possibly down to anybody that is disabled in the area know that they can do it.
Yeah.
They'll probably look at what is done in a box when they turn up and go, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But it's having somebody to actually take the time to go, you can do it. You just got to build up to it.
Yeah.
And every disability is different with what anybody can do. You can put two people side by side of me with the same injury, and we'll be different in what we can do. It's just how much you can do with it to see where you get to.
Yeah.
I mean, I started snatching with a PVC pipe, like I'm sure a majority of able-bodied people did.
Yeah.
In 3 years, it's progressed from the PVC pipe to me doing 17 kilos above my head. My biggest accomplishment so far, with my injury, of what I can get and keep above my head and keep it. Whether I'll get 20k is another matter. But
definitely.
I'll keep trying and see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be looking forward to seeing that. So in terms of what advice would you give to, say, coaches then, about getting more disabled athletes included in CrossFit communities?
Where I was staying in the spinal unit in Salisbury, there is now a CrossFit box. Obviously, health and exercise is good for people, and CrossFit is probably one of the better ones that could help them. It's coaches taking the time to see what's around them, to see if it will help anybody and benefit them.
Yeah.
If they're prepared to take the time to try and teach someone, the rewards you get, you'll be quite surprised at.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not many of us in the UK that are UK adaptive. Some coaches, I don't know. It's whether some people in wheelchairs might go, no, I can't do that, or it's not something I want to try.
Yeah.
Which you can't break into that mindset of, why don't you just give it a go, because it just doesn't work like that. It's down to the person. If somebody goes to the gym and they want to push themselves a bit more, you might get it from that. But it's trying to find people in the area that you're in. It's not always going to be the same way as me going, yeah, I want to try it.
Yeah.
It more comes from the person than it would do from the coach.
Yeah.
It's just knowing that if somebody who is disabled goes to a box, then they're not going to get a coach going, no, you can't. Look at us and go, we can adapt stuff.
Yeah.
If stuff can be adapted and they're prepared to take on the challenge, when I say challenge, if they're prepared to take it on and look past their disability, then you're onto a winner.
Yeah. And I like how you kind of corrected yourself there when you said about challenge. It shouldn't be a challenge for a coach; it's a journey. And in the same way, if an able-bodied person come in and trying to to convince them with their mindset is something that needs to be worked on and stuff like that. So yeah, you have to be prepared for everyone that comes in. Me personally thinking, do you think there is enough, out there to try and raise awareness or convince disabled athletes to obviously get involved?
No,
No?
but I think that comes from if CrossFit HQ actually talk to people with disabilities. People can do it with disabilities.
Yeah.
I mean, in the States, there is a big adaptive community doing CrossFit. It's not reached over here yet, which hopefully one day it will.
Yeah.
It's got to come from, as they say, grassroots. If the coaches that are first, you might get people that come in, don't look at them as a challenge, look at them as a way of progressing.
So what would you say kind of like to coaches and say maybe athletes within the community? One problem I can kind of envisage, Nige, is some people are quite nervous maybe about causing offence, especially in this day and age. I think some people are worried about upsetting others. So subconsciously they kind of act in a way that's probably actually causing more offence because they're not engaging. So would you have any kind of advice for coaches or for athletes about talking about disabilities or talking to a person that has a disability?
It's talk to the box. Just be honest with what you can and can't do with the person, and see what they say from that. If they still think you can't do it, then it might be that you can. But anything and everything is adaptable. I can't do ring muscle ups, but you can do banded chest press. Yeah. I couldn't snatch to start with because I was using a PVC pipe and I progressed. It's knowing. It's just working around what you're taught for an able-bodied person, and then looking at someone in my situation and going, right, he's not going to do burpees, but what's another alternative of a movement that can be used? It's as long as they're prepared to take the time, that's what it is. It's just about communication, a lot of it. Yeah. If they can talk to the person, then it's what helps progress themselves. We can train people with disabilities. We have a bit of experience. It's not just a closed door to anybody that's just able-bodied.
Yeah, we had a great day at CTC last year when we had Becca Slater from UK Adaptive Athletes, and she brought a whole host of adaptive athletes down prepping for Strength in Depth. Yeah. And it was a fantastic day for the coaches. We got all the athletes involved as well. And I think it was a great day for everyone. And again, we had a kind of like an open talk, and people talked about, how they were kind of nervous at the start. But again, you just kind of get that, like you said, talking is the key, and just, again, working things out and building that connection. People are still people, whatever they got. And just get on that journey and then think about playing the long game. And I think that's the biggest thing, is not everyone is training to be a CrossFit Games athlete. The very, very small percentage of people are doing that. Less than 1% of people are doing that around the world. It's about, longevity, making sure that it gives you a better life from where you started. And obviously,
I mean, if someone comes into your box who's unhealthy, but they're disabled and they want to try and better themselves, surely that's half your battle's over.
Well, I think that's even more of an achievement. I'd happily, prolong someone's life and give them better quality of life than sending someone to the CrossFit Games as a coach. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all about trying to get everybody to regionals, or if they want to go and do a comp, fair play to them.
Yeah.
Not everybody will, but if they want to get healthy, that's the main goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've competed twice in last year and thoroughly loved it.
Awesome.
I mean, it's the community side of things that gets you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I competed in a box up at Taunton, a lot of the other athletes were looking at me at the start of it, were like, is he competing? Not oh, that's really nice. They're more concerned of, are we going to get beaten by someone who's safe? Which, for me, I was just sat there looking at people's expressions, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
As the day went on, they were realising it's like he's actually giving it everything he's got.
Yeah.
And we as a team, we finished fifth.
Awesome.
12 of us. And a lot of them, you could see it on their faces. They were like, okay, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's given everything he has on the day. And I think they were surprised. But for me, it's purely because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
And I think that's a good thing to touch on there. It's just that if people are disabled, that doesn't kind of hold them back, and it's not about giving an extra handout or like a participators kind of pat on the back and stuff like that. They're still competitive people. They're still driven. They can still do stuff. They still want to push themselves. And the Paralympics show that. Obviously the adaptive competitions that are getting pushed out now just shows you still need to get that kind of that sense of purpose, and that getting uncomfortable, challenging yourself, and smashing barriers and getting over obstacles. And
I mean, from competitions wise, it's a lot of people they're scared to try and adapt the workouts for the day. But again, that comes to talk to the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
They will tell you what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
I'm hopefully competing in October, doing an online one. And I messaged the people doing it and said, is this open to adaptive athletes? And to start with, they're a little bit hesitant.
Yeah.
But I said, all it is a case of is me knowing the WOD before you release it, so that I can tweak it and make sure you're happy with it.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's just allowing us the option to tweak what you want to do, so you still got the same movement, and to make sure you're happy with that. The UK Adaptive Group, they do strength in depth and stuff, and that's purely because they've spoken to the people running it and said, we want to do it, but we might need to adapt stuff. And they're like, it's all about, if they can understand that, then you'll get a lot more people involved.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen it in quite a few comps, adaptive athletes, in competing, amputees, visually impaired, competing, just like that. Just give me the opportunity. I can show you what I can do. It's just few little tweaks, like I said. Yeah, it's
the same with comps at boxes.
Yeah,
if you give them the chance that somebody adaptive wants to do it, let them do it. Just let them tweak it that they need to. They're not there to win it. They're there just to enjoy the day.
And have the opportunity.
If they do win it, then great.
Yeah.
But it's more the community feel.
Yeah.
That it is to do with, it's more of it's the community and them wanting to do it than looking at it as somebody looking at it going, oh, they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we always, I always advise our athletes to just have one go at a comp, whether that be in-house, local, national, whatever. Always just have one go at a comp. And it's more, like I said, it's not about the winning. It's about you against you. It's about making sure that you show up on the day, that you're there in your lane when your name's called, 3, 2, 1, go. It's that battle, because it's all the nerves, that apprehension, debating about whether to do it or not. And, but once you've done it, you've realized that you can obviously put yourself in that situation, and everyone needs to have that kind of opportunity to do that. And adaptive athletes are just the same.
it also depends on how much knocker you've drunk beforehand.
Yeah, you don't want to start doing that on the day. You want to make sure that you're otherwise.
I learned from mistakes on the first comp of drinking knocker.
Brilliant. So one thing is obviously clear, Nige, is obviously your perspective, your outlook on life, your your resilience, your courage. Has that always been the case for you over the kind of the 22 years that since that you actually had your accident?
So first year of my accident, I was in hospital doing rehab, which was fine. It was all geared up for me. Everything was great. Came home. First 2 years were dark, and I had no, living in Devon in a wheelchair. You're stuck with hills wherever you go. I will admit I tried to top myself once. I can laugh about it now, but I couldn't get the triangles to line up on the tablet pot. But it was then that I kind of knew I needed to do something to try and help myself. Luckily, I had a carer that took me to a local gym, and I met a local Marine. Well, I say a local Marine. He was an ex-Marine, but he was a PT there. He got me going into fitness with what I wanted to do. I couldn't lift weights, but we started with bands. He would push me, but I'd push back. But he pushed more to get me to where I am now. I mean, he doesn't train me anymore. He hasn't trained me in over 16 years. But with his initial help, I've got to where I am now. Now, with the PT that I do have, James, who does CrossFit bits in the gym that I was in. The initial reaction from Pi was, yeah, why not? Why can't you do it? You can do it now. Martin and the coaches up there, they've all helped me progress to where I am now. I mean, where we are in 5 years' time, who knows? I'll be stronger and fitter. I know my body will get to a point, it's like, yeah, you can't physically do any more on certain stuff, which is fine. I've tried, I've got to where I am now. It's all about trying at the end of the day. The more you try, the more you don't know.
Yeah.
You'll probably surprise yourself.
But what I'd say is picking up on what you just said about, very modest and obviously giving a lot of praise for a lot of people that have kind of obviously been with you on your journey, but it's not to be taken away that, again, you've done that, you've made that choice. And you're the one that's, kept pushing on and obviously wanting to be better and not settling for being told that what you can and can't do, which, was initially diagnosed.
Everybody with a disability, they will know their limitations, but sometimes you need to push. I mean, it took a while for my mindset to go, sod it, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to have that, but the ones that do, the area that could probably help them a few of the people that train there, they put me at ease straight away.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the community feel and the amount of dogs that are in there as well. I mean, CrossFit boxes and dogs, it seems a current thing. But,
controversial there. I'm a bit OCD, mate. I check people's shoes when they come in through the door. So no dogs allowed.
Let dogs in, you'll be surprised.
Yeah. Maybe when I'm away on holiday. So with obviously your journey now, what's on the horizon? What have you got lined up?
Hopefully next year, all being well, competitions being back, I want to compete a bit more. Even if it's local boxes, I'm not worried about national events.
Yeah.
I just want to do local ones that it helps me just get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
If I do a national event, then great. I'm undecided as yet.
Yeah.
But obviously, it all depends on with what restrictions we have as to what goes ahead.
Yeah. So hopefully, I think there's a few of us competing in September in a couple of weeks. So it'd be interesting to see that how unfolds. And obviously, there's a big calendar next year. So if it does go ahead, if you do fancy a dance partner at a comp, obviously we're at the same age, so we're sneaking some masters competitions and get amongst it.
Yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'd be cool. Okay, so to finish off and kind of round up, what would you kind of say to that coach out there that wants to obviously make their boxes inclusive as impossible, but obviously they are a bit nervous? What would the best advice be for them?
Speak to someone with a disability that does it. There's 7 or 8 of us around. If they want to include people in it, talking. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
I mean, I'm always happy to talk to somebody from my point of view of what helps and what doesn't. Yep. You just got to be prepared to listen. As soon as you do that, then it's fine.
Yep. So if you are a coach out there and you want to make your box more inclusive and have adaptive athletes, or start spreading the word about adaptive athletes training at your box, either get with myself or get in touch with Nige on Wheelie by Design on Instagram. Obviously, however, you've got to think about the disability. Remember, not all disabilities are the same. So if you do want to speak to an athlete, reference a similar disability, again, get in touch with us and we can put you forward into contact with some other athletes, adaptive athletes that have been training with us before. So, Nige, thank you very much. Now, few comments that we've had reference our shows is that we started doing a thing called underrated, overrated, and last few episodes I forgot to do them, my bad. So I need to make sure that I get that involved today. So the way it works then, buddy, is I'm just going to say a word or a couple of words or a subject or a genre, and then you just have to say whether that is overrated or underrated.
Okay.
Okay, then, buddy. So we're going to start off with beach volleyball.
Overrated.
Overrated? Oh, that's not what you said before.
No.
Changing now. Changing. Okay, overrated. Oh, controversial. Okay, soaps on TV.
Oh, very overrated.
100%. I can't believe people still watch them in this day and age. Apologies if you still do. Okay, CrossFit.
Underrated.
100% underrated, but I think we're massively biased. But no, the proof is in the pudding. It's a phenomenal fitness movement, and it is definitely changing lives for the better. Okay, being coached.
Underrated.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, don't be scared about being coached. The top athletes, no one in any sport has got to the top of their game without being coached. Okay. Turtle Bay, the restaurant.
Overrated.
100%. I've been there. I knew the moment I walked through the doors, it was going to be a negative experience. And yeah, leave Caribbean food, Turtle Bay. You're not good at it. Okay, Ed Sheeran.
Underrated.
Oh, controversial. I think he's one of the biggest frauds in music. But yeah, okay. You like a bit of Ed Sheeran? What do you listen to? What do you like to listen to when you work out?
It varies. 80s, 90s stuff.
Yeah, house music.
No.
Ah, okay. Being uncomfortable mentally.
Underrated.
Yeah, it's underrated. Yeah, you need to. I think there's a lot to be said about being uncomfortable, and that's how you grow. Coffee.
Underrated because I don't drink it.
Oh, you don't drink it?
No.
Ah, never drunk it?
No.
You're more of a tea man?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, or a no-go man?
Yeah, or knocker.
Yeah. Are you still smashing them out, or?
Yeah, I've got one there, man.
Yeah. What's your favourite? Have you had the lemon?
I love the lemon.
Yeah.
Lemon with a bit of vodka in it's lovely.
Oh, mate, yin and yang. You know what I mean? Cancel each other.
If knocker are watching, you can quite happily send me
some. Social media.
It can be overrated in some areas.
Yeah.
Other areas it can be helpful.
Yeah, I think in a nutshell, as a concept, I think it's very underrated. I think because of the power of it, it does have a negative effect on people. So that is definitely underrated. But the positive and the connection is definitely outweighs the bad stuff. And lastly, Matt Fraser.
Oh, on the fence.
Oh, okay. Matt Fraser or Rich Froning?
Oh, I'd go with Matt Fraser.
Matt Fraser. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So he's obviously chasing, see if he can overcome Rich. Yeah, the games. So they've kind of worked it out. Be interesting to see how that format. I'm excited to see it, how it rolls. I think at the end of the day, it's not ideal, but it's going to be the same for everyone. And the Open's been announced in for February, March. So a return to an early start.
If you can get the regionals back, that'd be more fun.
I reckon they will. I think with obviously everything that's happening, I think there will be a return to the old format. I think regionals will happen. I kind of like the way it is with the athlete, the top athlete from each country. I think if they can kind of still keep that and regionals, but I think regionals need to be kind of reprocessed as well a bit. Make it a bit more fair across regionals. It'd be interesting to see. I'm excited about CrossFit, how it develops with the games, and obviously with the inclusion and moving forward from Craig Glassman. So awesome. So guys, if you do have any messages or anything like that, please feel free to contact us, or if you want to get in touch with Nige direct as well, look him up on Instagram at Wheelie by Design. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Nige, thank you very much. Absolute pleasure to meet you today. Thank you for an insight, and definitely looking to meeting up in person, hopefully around the bazaars or on the dance floor. And we can share some knocko together. Okay, guys, have an awesome day. Thank you very much.